Hello and good morning, everybody. You're with Martin Panev, Chief Account Executive and Trading Analyst, GDMFX. Welcome to today's European Market Session Outlook. As usual, starting with the North American markets. The main indexes yesterday recorded their third consecutive session of gains as investors were relieved that Greece and its creditors reached an agreement for a third bailout program, averting a potential Greek exit, or Grexit, as they call it. The Dow, 30 points up. Nasdaq, 95 points up. The Dixie is up to 97.00 from 95.90. Monthly budget statement for June. The federal government ran a budget surplus of 52 billion in June. The Treasury Department said that on Monday. That is about 19 billion lower than the surplus seen in the same month a year ago. That affected just a few of the US pairs versus the Loonie, 5 points up, 10 points versus the Swissy, versus the Japanese yen, 11 points up. Retail sales month on month are due today, as well as Ms. Yellen's testimony tomorrow, and on Thursday, CPI year on year on Friday. For Canada, interest rate decision, the bank statement and press conference, this is on Wednesday, and on Friday, the inflation data year on year. The European markets, the DAX and the CAC 40 were little changed yesterday. The CPI data came out as expected from Germany, basically just hours after a deal that saw Greece surrender much of its sovereignty to outside supervision in return for agreeing to talks on an 86 billion euro bailout. Doubts were already emerging about whether Tsipras would be able to hold his government together. The terms imposed by the international lenders led by Germany in all-night talks at an emergency summit obligated Tsipras to abandon promises of ending the austerity. Instead, he must pass legislation to cut pensions, increase value-added tax, clamp down on collective bargaining agreements, and put in place quasi-automatic spending constraints. In addition, he must set 50 billion euros of public sector assets aside to be sold off under the supervision of foreign lenders and get the whole package through Parliament by Wednesday this week. Eurozone finance ministers told officials to prepare options for bridge financing arrangements during talks on a bailout, and a decision is expected again tomorrow by Wednesday. On the currency pair movement front, the euro-dollar 14 pips down yesterday versus the pound 8 down versus the Aussie 14 down yesterday and another 8 today already. Versus the Loonie, 13 down, versus the Japanese yen, 8 total, versus the New Zealand dollar, 14 down. German ZU survey economic sentiment, the ECOFIN minister meeting, industrial production, Italian and Spanish CPI, Swiss producer and import prices are due today. Moving to the UK markets, the FTSE 100 moved up to 50 points yesterday and closed at 6,680. Yesterday, the sterling regained some strength against the major rivals as movements were mainly up or sideways. Retail sales monitor was released. As a result, is 1.8%, the previous being 0. Bank of England claimed yesterday that the mortgage demand rose significantly in the two expected to increase further in the next 3 months. The mortgage demand index rose from 32.1 to 40.8 from the first quarter up to now. Yesterday, currency pair front, pound yen 13 points up, pound Swissy 13 points up as well, 20 points range. Today, we're waiting for the inflation reports hearings along with the speech of Mr. Carney. And also we have a lot of Tier 3 and Tier 2 events. Consumer Price Index year on year for June, retail sales monitor, and that's pretty much the most important events. Moving along to the Asian Pacific markets, the Australian business confidence climbed to the highest level since September 2013. A budget stimulus for small firms improved the outlook, even though consumers remain cautious and business remains reluctant to hire. The economy is being increasingly reliant on an upturn in non-mining investment to drive growth and productivity. The US dollar held gains as the Greece situation is coming to a close and the Fed is predicting a rate hike. Basically, the greenback is considered a safe haven by Australians, even more as it hit its strongest level in a month. Of course, this is again because of the agreement that Greece reached with its creditors. Tomorrow, we're waiting for the consumer price index year-on-year and quarter-on-quarter for the New Zealand dollar, as well as Westpac consumer confidence for the Australian dollar, business PMI for the Kiwi as well on Thursday, for the Aussie consumer inflation expectations and bank business confidence quarter-on-quarter. Moving to Asia, the Nikkei 225 gained 400 points yesterday. Continues to go up today. Asian stocks rose fourth day amid relief over Greece's debt deal, with the dollar holding gains as attention shifted back to the timeline for higher US interest rates. Tomorrow, we're going to wait for the monetary policy statement from Bank of Japan and also its press conference. In China, we are waiting for the GDP data quarter-on-quarter and year-on-year, as well as the press conference. Retail sales are coming as well, industrial production year-on-year, and in Japan, foreign investments in stocks and bonds. These are all events which we expect to see tomorrow. On the commodities front, starting with the S&P 500 index, which had a range of 37 points, close to 2,100 as we speak. Gold had a range of $13 yesterday, trading at 1,155 right now. Overnight, the futures fell mildly amid a stronger dollar as Greece and its international creditors agreed on a principle to preliminary bailout early Monday morning, following tense, often acrimonious marathon negotiations. Silver had a range of 37 cents. The crude oil, the WTI, had almost $2 range at 51.40 right now. Saudi Arabia told OPEC it raised oil production to a record as the organization forecast stronger demand for its members. Oil fell for a third day as Iran and world powers neared a nuclear agreement that would allow the Islamic Republic to increase crude exports in an oversupplied market. Tomorrow, crude oil stocks change and natural gas again on Thursday. It had about 16 cents movement yesterday on an uptick. Basically, this is pretty much from me from today. Please be careful. Today's a very, very volatile calendar day. Make sure you price in the markets quite well or stay away. That's all from me from today. Thank you very much for your attention. I wish you successful trading. Cheers. Bye-bye.